Hey y'all. Actually no, hey Nora. This is your video boo. I finally got it filmed. I really hope that it comes out well. Thank you for your requests first off. Secondly, thank you everyone for tuning in for another video. In today's look, we are kind of like pretty in pink, but this is mainly like how I do my eyeliner, and I made it extra dramatic for the video. So if you're interested in seeing how I got this look, then continue to watch. So the very first part of the video is just me showing you how I got my eye look. I took a color from the Juvia's Place palette, and then I moved on to my Sigma Enchanted palette, which is so beautiful, y'all. I used the colors Terra, Claystone, and then on the eyelid I'm gonna use the color Innocent, but this is just a speed through of how I got the actual eye look. This look was super easy to achieve. You can use whatever colors you want. It's pretty much very simple as far as an eye application goes. Just follow my beginner friendly eyeshadow tutorial and you should be able to recreate this with no issue. Okay, so now for the eyeliner and the real purpose for this video. I'm going to zoom in, I'm going to get you all up in the grill, girl, and we're going to work on getting this liner. My best advice is work in small sections. Make sure that the amount of product on your brush applicator is minimal. You want to keep it as non-clumpy as possible. So I'm going to use my Wet n Wild liquid liner today. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit more. Okay, so I like to start in the middle of my eye for the application because this is going to determine how thick I make my wing. And for today's video, I'm gonna make my wing just a little bit heavier or thicker than I normally would. So I'm going to take my brush and I'm going to have it kind of horizontal to my eyelid, and I'm going to start in the middle by drawing a line. Something that helps me keep the line kind of straight is to take my free hand. I'm just using my pointer finger and I'm just going to tug at the skin a bit so I can get this line as crisp as possible. I try to keep this as close to the lash line as I can. And then I'm gonna thicken it up as I go along. I'm just working in little short sections and kind of flicking the liner out. Okay. And once I've gotten that line, what I will do is take the end and I'm gonna make a wing directly like straight back. Aim it towards the tail end of your brow and go up from there. Some of the longer eyes look great with like a liner that kind of goes straight out, but for my eye shape, I try to go just a tad bit up towards my brow. So I'm just gonna create a line, and I usually try to do one swoop and change the amount of pressure I'm holding on the brush. So I'm gonna start thick and then go in thin. All right, so once I've gotten that initial wing, I'm going to start from the center of this wing, or maybe like a third towards the end, center there, and I'm going to draw a line straight back to my eye. And then you'll see the negative space I have, and then I will go in and fill that in. So now I've got the shape of the liner that I like, and then you go in and you just perfect it. I also, for the start of my line, I don't really like to bring my liner all the way to the very inner corner of my eye because I like the shape that it gives when I start kind of a little bit behind. So I tend to keep my liner about there. And I make this as thin as possible. So you want to start really thin on the inner corner and make it really thick as you wing out the liner. So to review, and I'm gonna kind of go over it a little bit more to make it even thicker. Start in small sections. I start from about the inner 2/3 of my eye, making short strokes. And initially I keep it very close to the lash line, and as I go towards the end of my eye or corners of my eye, I thicken the line out. If you need to steady your hand, use your pinky kind of like as an anchor on your cheek, and then add to the the width, the thickness of your line. I find that doing the tail end faster works better for me than in short, small strokes. But if you are new to this, then maybe small sections is best. Make it a little further back. All right, so we're gonna move on to the next eye, and this is my struggle eye. I mean, I feel like we all got a struggle eye when it comes to brows, lashes, when it comes to liner. I mean, it's always that one. And so I suggest also, if you're new, start off with your struggle eye first. More than likely, you'll spend more time on that eye, and it'll be closer to getting the perfect wing that you're looking for. So same technique. We're going to retract the skin just a bit. We're going to start by drawing a line straight back towards the end of our eye, and we're going to keep it as close to the lash line as possible initially. And then as we get towards the end, you want to start making it just a bit thicker. Just remember to dab off excess product off of your brush or your felt tip liner or anything. So for this next part, I'm going to add in some tape because I've seen people using this method to apply eyeliner, and this may be helpful for somebody that is struggling to create like the nice wing behind the eye. So you want to take a little piece of Scotch tape, and then I like to kind of get some of the tackiness off of this by applying it to the back of my hand first, and then just taking it off because the skin around your eye tends to be very delicate. So all right, so once that first layer of like tackiness is kind of removed, you're gonna put that on your eye in the same manner in which you would be drawing your wings. Just keep in mind where you place the tape. You just want like to make them as even as possible or symmetrical as possible. So I just tried to angle my tape as best I could to mimic my left eye. All right, so once I've gotten that on, I'm just gonna go straight in and just draw a line up against the tape, okay? And you still want to do the same thing. Try to keep the end of the liner a little bit thinner than the beginning. Once you've gotten that, go from the about halfway mark on the wing from your eye. Draw a line right back to your original liner. So the easiest way to think about this is creating a obtuse triangle and then just filling in negative space. I give this a little bit of time to dry down before I remove the tape so it doesn't get too messy. All right, so once that's dried down, take your tape off, and you should have a somewhat crisp line. Give it about 30 seconds to fully dry down, okay? So your liner should no longer be shiny. It will be a matte black if it is a matte liner, but I'll give it 30 seconds just to make sure that we're fully dried, so I can show you how to easily correct it. You can take your concealer, you can take some foundation and a flat brush, and we're just gonna correct where we messed up, okay? So I'm using this little brush. This is literally like a no-name brush that I have picked up from, I don't know, like the dollar store. I'm gonna take that with a little bit of product on the back of my hand, and I'm going to thoroughly like coat my brush. So where it looks like this, it is nice and thin, okay? And once you've gotten that, what you're gonna do is go in and stamp away all of your mistakes. So I'm gonna start about here. I'm just gonna drag the liner, or I'm just gonna drag the concealer down. So I've zoomed you back out so you can kind of see what both of the eyes look like in comparison to another. And I'm pretty satisfied with how they look. As far as symmetry goes, the wing is my kind of style. You want to just go ahead and finish with the rest of your face.